Hello everybody, how are you? Today I will be doing a video about long distance relationships. Now, for those who know me personally, I have been in a long distance relationship for a while now, and usually me and my partner get a fair few of the same questions asked over and over again. And with technology and like Tinder, Hinge, eHarmony, I feel like long distance relationships are becoming more and more common, but at the same time it's become more and more of a puzzle to people. Like, oh, you know, you can just find someone here, you want that instant gratification of having someone physically there, which I understand. That's like, I would love to also have my partner here, but a lot of people seem to be puzzled by long distance relationships or just curious about how long distance relationships are. So today I will be answering some questions about long distance relationships that I get asked quite often, and some were submitted by you guys as well when I put it on Instagram. So the first question is, how did you meet? So I'm gonna insert a picture of me and my partner here just for reference so you know what we look like. How we first met was that we were both in Japan for overseas exchange. He was there for 10 months and I was there for 12, and we arrived at the same time and we were in the same dorm as well. So my partner, he's Dutch, and my roommate that was assigned also happened to be a Dutch girl. Now her English wasn't as great at the time, so more often than not she'd be like, oh, be right back, I just need to go downstairs and ask the Dutch boys something. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like I thought nothing of it. Yeah, you go do you, that's fine. And then one day she was like to me, oh, do you want to go to Osaka with me, like to the city? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So then I went, and unbeknownst to me that she had also invited my partner, and I hadn't, I think I've seen him around, but I never actually spoken to him at that point. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just see how it goes. From then on, we just really clicked in terms of like friendship, interest. You know, we were great friends at first because we just had a lot of things in common. Like we liked watching the same movies, we talked about music and like loving spicy food. We love spicy food, so we bonded over those things, and then over time it grew into a relationship. Actually, fun fact, the first thing that I said, and I remember this and he also remembers this too, is the first thing I said to my partner was, oh, you smell nice, what is that you have on? And that was the first thing. I didn't even say hi, I just said, oh, you smell nice. And the first thought he had, I think, was like, oh, this girl isn't your typical girl. And I was just like, he actually smelled really, really nice. And whenever he runs out of that particular cologne, I just have to I repurchase it for him, because I just want him to smell like that always. And it also reminds me of the time we were in Japan together, so it's also like a nice reminder. But yeah, that cologne smells so good. Yeah, and that was the first thing I said to him. And that's how we met, in Japan while we were both studying abroad. The next question I usually get asked is how long we've been together. So our anniversary is October 11th, 2017. At the time of filming this, it will be almost 3 years, just over 2.5. So we've been together for almost 3 years, and long distance we've been doing for like 2/3 of it, I'd say. Most of the relationship has been long distance, because when we were in Japan together, he was only there for 10 months. So essentially I was only together with him for 10 months. The next question I usually get asked is, where do you both live now? So because he's Dutch, he lives in the Netherlands, and me being Australian, I live in Australia. So as you can imagine, it's quite a distance. It's literally like from the underside of the globe to like the top of the globe. So whenever I fly to see him, it would be about like, I would say at least, I'm looking at least a 20 20 to 24-ish hour travel time, because I'd have to fly via an Asian country, usually it's China, and then there'd be a stopover, and then I would fly to Amsterdam. So yeah, and the time difference, it ranges anywhere from like 8 to 10 hours because of daylight savings. So usually when I'm awake, he's asleep, and when he wakes up, it's like afternoon to evening for me. Time difference does make it hard to communicate, of course, because, for example, I'm not messaging him now, and he can't message me when I'm asleep either, but we make it work. Another question we get asked a lot is, how often do you see each other? Before this, it probably would have been once to twice a year. I know that's not a lot, but I'll take what I can get. Especially now that I've started working full time, it'll probably be a bit harder to see him. But then the next question usually is, when do you plan on seeing each other next? Now, asking that question during the pandemic now, it hurts a little bit because, I don't know, in Australia we're not allowed to leave the country other than for compassionate reasons or, certain exemptions, and flying to Europe to see your long distance boyfriend because you miss him isn't exactly grounds for exemption, I wouldn't think. So the honest answer is I don't know when I'm gonna see him next, and it sucks because last time I saw him, which is another question I get usually asked, when was the last time I saw him? It would be March 2019. I haven't seen my partner for almost a year and a half. But yeah, we were supposed to see each other actually now. We had planned a holiday in July. We were going to go to Taiwan and then Bali. But obviously now that there is this whole global pandemic that's happening, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Honestly, I'm just hoping that I will be able to see him sometime this year. Although that will probably be stretching it. Next question is, do you call each other every day? And add on to that is, have you ever fallen asleep on the phone with him? We call each other every day, mostly, unless, for example, I'm out with friends, like for a party or something, and usually we'll call each other at least once a day, if not normally twice a day. So normally I would call him in the morning, just before I go to work, and then when he wakes up, it'll be like around dinner time, and then we'll talk until I go to sleep. But have I ever fallen asleep? I don't think so. I think maybe once, or I've come close to falling asleep, but he's definitely fallen asleep on the phone more than me. Because usually I'm like, oh no, like you should go to sleep, it's really late. And he's like, no, I want to stay up and talk to you. And what I normally do is, it's kind of sneaky. Like what I normally do is I just go, oh, okay. And then I'll do something or I'll mute myself so it's quiet. And then once he'll fall asleep in about like 20 seconds, once I hear that he's breathing steadily, then I just like quietly hang up so he can get his rest. Another question I get asked, because my boyfriend is Dutch and I'm Australian and we met in Japan, is what language do we speak with each other? A lot of people think that we speak Japanese to each other. I mean, we could, but that would just make our life so much harder. So we would speak in English to each other because his English was good to begin with. It's gotten better now that he's speaking every day, but we speak English to each other, and so I know a couple of things in Dutch. I've been learning a bit, like the important phrases like ik hou van jou, ik mis je, koop dat voor mij, ik wil meer geld, the important things in Dutch I know how to say. A big question that we normally get is, how do we do long distance? Which is a fair question. So how do we deal with not being able to be physically with each other? I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. There's no way of skirting around it. It sucks when you're sick, or if your partner's sick and you can't do anything about it. It sucks when you've had a fight and there's no way of physically consoling the other person. What I miss a lot is if we do ever bicker or argue or fight, we make up. But after making up, there's no hug to reconcile, or there's no like kiss on the cheek. It sucks. I feel like I'm getting a bit emotional just thinking about it. But those things can come later. What's important now is that we can make it through this long distance with just emotionally being strong enough for each other. And if we can make it through this is my personal opinion, if we can make it through this, I feel like we can make it through anything. if you can stand being away from someone you love for a long time without caving into temptations or whatever, and just being able to provide emotional support from continents away, then I feel we can rise the challenge in life when we are together. Another question we do also get is, what about cheating? What about infidelity? For me, cheating, infidelity, it happens even if you share the same bed with someone. I feel like being physically distant, sure, you get more chances and you're able to get away with it. Maybe a bit easier from your partner, but you can be with someone for 8-10 years, physically together, living in the same house. They can still be cheating on you, you wouldn't know that better. So I don't really think that just because he's physically away from me, that I should worry about cheating. Plus, I trust him, there's a good foundation between us. It sucks that I can't be physically together with him. I wish I could hug, cuddle, kiss, go on dates, do that kind of stuff with him too every day. But I'm willing to delay those gratifications, knowing that this will make us stronger, and in the future we will have all the time in the world to catch up on those things. Another question is also, are you moving there or is he moving here? So am I going to the Netherlands or is he coming to Australia? We've talked about this, and this was set quite early on in the relationship, that he would move here first, and then in our older years we would move back to the Netherlands. Also, wedding. We've been dating a while. Some people ask us about weddings. A lot of people ask, will we have 2 weddings? Because his family is Hindu. They have their traditional Hindu ceremonies. Depending on finances and situations, the plan is that we will have a big Hindu wedding there in the Netherlands with his whole family, and we will have one here where it is like the traditional like white dress and walking down the aisle, that kind of ceremony here in Australia for my friends and family. Just because he has a huge extended family, no way that they're all like flying out here to have a big wedding. Plus, he's also the first born in his family and he's the first son. So him getting married will be a really big deal. Everyone will want to be there. So like logistically speaking, it'll be much easier to have a wedding over there, and there'll be a lot fewer people to fly over there for his wedding than if they were to fly over here for like our wedding in Australia. So yeah, that's it for the video today. Let me know if you have any more questions. You can DM me or find me on Facebook. My Facebook page, it will be linked here. So yeah, leave any comments or questions you have long distance, and I will speak to you soon. Make sure to like and subscribe.